Two weeks ago, we told you about the Westside Market's progress in its 10-month plan to transition to nonprofit management.
Yeah, it was the kickoff to a new series called Remaking the Market, where we introduce you to the people on the advisory board and what perspective they might bring.
Tonight, Doug Trattner interviews board member Amanda Dempsey, who has some experience with running the market herself.
This is where all the ice cream is stored before it goes out.
When Mitchell's Ice Cream opened its Ohio City kitchen in 2014, it needed a leader to help keep pace with the growing neighborhood around it, a neighborhood already home to the iconic Westside Market.
I came to Mitchell's at the end of 2014.
Meet Amanda Dempsey. Currently Mitchell's Community Engagement and Events Director, Dempsey came from down the block, where she worked for about 2 years as the manager of the Westside Market.
My role as a market manager was to oversee the daily operations of the Westside Market, advocate for repairs as they were needed requested by the vendors, or any capital projects that were going on at the time.
Amanda was already familiar with the market's day-to-day operations because of her prior job with Ohio City Incorporated, where she served as market district director while helping to plan its centennial celebration, a celebration that launched the market's capital planning process and kicked off an analysis of needed physical changes.
Some of that stuff get done.
Well,
we're here 10 years later, right?
Yeah, so the previous administration did invest in the market for capital projects, which was great. Just kind of the long-term success of the market. Many other cities transitioned their markets and how they operated. Cleveland's was still owned and operated by the city. And it had to compete for resources with rec centers, police stations, fire stations. And of course, the city's priority should be the safety of the city and the residents in the neighborhoods. But it didn't allow the market to stand on its own and shine as the asset that it is for the region.
But with the new nonprofit model, some of that competition should subside. Councilman Carrie McCormick, who oversees the market's ward and is also on the advisory board, explains where those dollars could eventually come from.
That type of setup is they can fundraise. Right now, nobody's going to give the city money, private dollars for the market, right? But when there's a not-for-profit management group, they can raise money from foundations, from corporations, and I'll tell you that people are jumping to support the market.
And both McCormick and Dempsey feel that the city, at long last, is on track to improving the market.
Are you feeling optimistic about the changes going forward this time?
Absolutely. It's the most optimistic I've ever felt. And I think that's because you have the right parties at play here.
For the neighborhood itself, it is the most important asset, hard stop.
So as far as an update on the advisory board's work, they are working now on how the board of those who will run the nonprofit will be structured.
Yeah, the tentative name for it is the Cleveland Public Market Corporation. It would consist of a president, a treasurer, secretary, and several breakout committees to help oversee various components of the market, from internal facets to merchant concerns, which was a big deal during its mismanaged stage just a couple of years ago. That structure is still being finalized, though.
Yeah, very important.